Shake, shake. You probably need to shake a little bit because you're, that's what happens in between these people. Cool. Thank you, Manu. Thank you, ICT, and thank you for being here. It's almost lunchtime, but I hope that I have something in value for you. Manu and I work together. We are actually building a startup today together, a corporate startup, and I've learned immensely from Manu's experience. And what I'm going to do is to break down what have we done in the last 14 months. We are building a corporate startup. It's a big one. It's for a big corporate, and there's a lot of stakes. Why am I speaking in cryptic tone? It's because I can't tell you. It was supposed to launch 2 weeks ago, and then legal got involved. So one piece of advice, get legal in early. No, we had to license technology. But I want to go back. Why is this moving alone? There you go. OK, so the font has gone funny. That's, called an Easter egg. You never know what you're going to get. But how do I play this? Guys, this is the way I feel doing corporate startups. That is exactly it. You need to treat it with the importance that it has. You are doing the cool stuff. You're in a room and people are jealous. Everyone wants to work with you, and you got to be very careful that you don't tell any people what you're doing. It feels of that importance, but in reality, some people just see you as playing around with vacuum cleaners. And that's exactly what I'm going to tell you what we've been doing, not with vacuum cleaners, but how important it has been for us the last 12 months. I call it the 2 + 9 to 12-month build. 2, hardcore innovation. What are we doing to find and identify where we're going to go? And then what happens during the 9 to 12 months? I'll explain that too. I see a lot of faces I've met before at the Management Academy, so good to see you. First thing that happens is the 2 months. People say, we need to define ideas that serves our customers of the future, as Manu so said, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to spend 2 months to discover, and we're going to identify. We're going to put revenue behind it. We're going to go to the CEO. We're going to say, I want to build a venture. This is that pre-feed part. But this is also the part where you make strategic decisions. You probably won't have time to validate, but you're going to ask for money, and you're going to ask for a team. And then you have the second phase, which I see, OK, you have the money now to build a team. There are KPIs in place. Go ahead. Do it. What are you going to do? You're going to basically manage a startup. You're going to project manage it. And what are you going to do? You're going to do it with nothing. You're going to do it as lean as possible. We'll get into that. Then you have the I'm building and playing. This is where technology, depending on the complexity, will hold you between 9 to 12 months. And lastly, go to market. Legal is more important than you think in go-to-market. So if we break it down, we are looking for license to build, reason to build, we want to build and play, and lastly, we want to integrate. Yes? And this is where Manu and I are. You can't really see the white line there. We are right at the end of go-to-market. We've done all the playfulness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down what happened in these 4 stages. OK? Now, the first 2 stages, there's a little bit of homework that needs to be done, which is team and people. Things then get into a flow of process. And the first question is what will we build, right? So that is the first 2 months. What are we looking for? And we need to assert one common goal. And that common goal is we need to beat time to market, and we need to find that opportunity within the company. Is that OK? We got to be clear about that. Because if you go to your CEO and say, I want to build something that was built 3 years ago, you're not beating the time to market. You're not promising revenue. But then there's another thing which is you need to agree on is what is the role of technology, of innovation, pardon. So behind me, on the right, you have the role of innovation is to fuel and find and generate business models, right? I am going to use innovation for profit. On the left, you have another train of thought that says, I'm going to use innovation to play with new products, and potentially I'll find something that really matches my company, and then I'm going to put a business behind it. Both are correct, but I work in a dark screen. No, We work with the one on the left. It is for profit. It is the one that says, I am going to use innovation to find new business models. This is confusing for you as it is for me, just so you know. So then we also have unspoken rules that you need to do to get the team running on those 2 months. Now, again, 2 months is very short. So what are you trying to do again? You're trying to say, Mr. CEO, I have an idea. I need to invest in it. I need to build a venture. And my team has agreed. Oh, sorry. I'll come back to this. Okay, so innovation. If you are interested in finding out more about innovation, that's me interviewing 4 intrapreneurs who have built startups. And from a gradient from left to right, they actually fall under the 2 topics I mentioned. On your left there, they fall under I use innovation for profit. On the right is I use innovation for finding new discoveries that my company can use. So you can find out more by going on that link. So then we need to agree, okay, way of working. Guys, we have 2 months. Principles of velocity is you don't go around the roundabout. You do what everybody does with speed, with discipline, with direction. I'm going to go as fast as I can down that path. I'm going to fake it. I'm going to say, I need money to build blah. Okay? And so the contract you have to have with your people are, you're expected to do. The second one is, don't get hooked on an idea direction. You're only going to have 1 in the end. You're not going to have 10. Third one, ruthless. If you slow things down, you're out. We are not going to go back and say, ooh, let's discuss that again. That's not going to happen. You got to move forward. And if you hate presenting, don't do it. You're not going to work with that tool. So, what does it feel like? Can we press play? Because every time I do something, it goes wrong. This is what the first 2 months feels like. No? Like that. And that's what we do for first 2 months, right? And so those were the rules of what it feels like and what you need to get going. And then we're going to kick off. And now I'm going to break down the tools that you use. And some of you have done these tools with me here at the Innovation Management Academy. You're going to kick off with the team. What are you going to kick off with? You're going to look at innovation triggers, synergy mapping, areas that you want to explore, shortlisting, the framework Manu showed us today, the innovation matrix. Now, this, funny enough, I have used here in the Innovation Management Academy, and we have had 40 corporate companies select which ones and why their companies innovate. And I actually want to show the result. 36 of the 40 brands we worked with selected these. The reason I'm showing this is it's just revealing that you look at innovation for profit, for revenue. This is why we innovate. We're looking for new business ideas, and we got to be fast. So moving on, you go into the deep dive. What is the deep dive? You've identified areas you want to look into. You want to look at trends, players, market size, customer journeys, value chains. How do you make money there? You want to get that all in. Remember, you're within 2 months. You're trying to cram in and filter down what you need to do. Then you're going to go into the value proposition stage where you're basically looking, what is my strategic direction? Have I shortlisted value propositions I can build upon? And then develop that concept. Now, that concept, you need to really understand, could I build an MVP? Because the last thing you want is to ask for money and lie. It doesn't work. So you need to have some idea, what would I build? And then you sprint it again. This is where you look at expert validation, so you're not going to have time to validate with customers. You're going to use experts in the market. Should we be moving in this direction? Should we be moving in that direction? And you want to shortlist it to 1, 2 ideas, and then you pitch. You build a narrative, you go to the CEO, and remember, the goal of going to the CEO is say, can I have a room of people and money to do this? And we can agree on a contract that it is, I'll report every 2 months, I'll report every 3 months. You're in a corporate company, so you will fall under their cadence. So this is what happens in the first 2 months. It's a lot. This is where innovation really gets used in terms of frameworks, and people need to be ruthless. And that's why I showed those kind of team rules you need to have up front, because you are expected to do, you are expected to participate, you will be left behind, and some people will have to move forward. And so going back to things we spoke today, there are intrapreneurs and there are venture builders. Well, I'm a venture builder. I come in and work with intrapreneur. And if everybody else disappears, oh, that's a lot. Oh, anyway, it says ask for money. You're not going to get the result you want. And when you pitch, you're pretty solid you're going to have an approval. And it feels something like that. You feel really cool. This is the hottest moment because now you've basically delivered a beautiful PowerPoint, and it's not going to stay there anymore. And it feels scary, but for a day, it feels great. So then you go into, OK, those are 2 months. We now have 9 months to work together. 3 phases. Phase 1, you now have a room of people, and you want to put it together. You're going to say, OK, what parts go well together? Imagine you're going to the supermarket, or you're trying to build a car. It's like, well, a wheel. I probably need a wheel. Do I need anything else? A steering wheel. OK, that's it. You know, you really want to go down to basics and understand, how can we build this? Important part is, you don't know how you're going to build this because you don't know what customers say. This morning, I was speaking to some people, and they were asking, well, how do you build these things? Do you build them and then give it to customers? No. I let customers tell me, would they like it first? That is the only way you can build something that is going to be successful. But then on the bottom, you got a team of people who don't really know if they're ready to build this. Because the people you use in the first 2 months might not be the people that HR said, you get Cherry, Harry, and whatever other people. And you're like, oh, OK, let's go. So again, housekeeping. First things first, you need a room. You need a room in the company. You need that room. You need a war room. I'm not joking. You need a place where you put all these Post-its and all these pens and all these toys that people go into. It's normally not the best room. I got to break it to you. Second, you need a modem. Okay? This is really stupid, but the amount of times that I've seen corporate startups and someone comes in and says, I don't have a Wi-Fi, or what's the password? Just get a modem. There's always a closet in every company, hidden somewhere with modems. Get the modem. Third, you need to have email and file sharing. Now, if someone says, OK, we're going to build a corporate startup, but we need to ask procurement for a Microsoft 365 license, you will get it in 2 weeks. Jesus, just go on Gmail. You know? So you need to move fast with stuff. And then you need bulletproof stuff, doers, people who are going to come in, not just critique, not just talk, but do. You need those people. So a lot of people that you inherit when you move into building, you don't know if they can do. But you need to make sure that they're doing from day one, because you need a board. That's the second thing you really need. People need to come in and say, and today I am doing, yes, you're doing that. You're doing that. And eventually, people will get into the comfort zone saying, I will do that. And they propose and lean forward. So get a Trello board. Get something where you can put all the tasks in. And you need governance. Now, you need to let people know how you're going to do this. I will report every week. I will do stand-up meetings. I love Agile. I love Lean. Whatever. Just make sure that people know where they have to be, when they have to be there, and then go, do. Be accountable. We heard the word accountable so much today. And that's the fun stuff, because like you, or some of you, I worked 16 years in a corporate company, and you're excited, but sometimes you don't get the license to do. So governance is also important. And it feels something like this, which is you feel ridiculous because you're doing lots of things that your company doesn't do. I have no idea what this guy is doing, for example. I have no idea, is he flying? How did he get there? Why is he wearing a bandana? But reality is, at this point, you went from that dog trying to find a bone to saying, look at me, I got all the cool gear. I got to go and do. So that was the housekeeping part. Let's go into what you actually do. In these 3 months, you're expected to do all these things, and we'll go one by one. I know it looks very PowerPointy, but we need to break this down so you know what is expected. Benchmarking. Easiest thing. The person who's in the room and is not doing anything, just fiddling their thumbs, get online, put a document together of who does this thing that we want to do. Interviews. Interview people. This is the quality part, right? Go for 30 people and just ask them, what problems do you have? What problems do you have? What problems do you have? If you can't do it face-to-face, there's WhatsApp. It works. So interview people. Business model. Go big. Go top-down. So top-down, we're not putting a lot of bottoms-up problems. Ooh, we can't do this. No, just go like the big one and say, we could actually take this chunk of the market. And then use a survey to use the problems identified in quali and move into quanti. And by survey, just go online. There's a lot of platforms. Put your questions in and say, we heard you have this problem. Would this solve your problem? No. Would this solve your problem? Would this solve your problem? You will get to a solution. Then you want to ask brand quickly, can I use your logo? Remember, we're in corporate startups, and Manu actually gave good examples of when they do or do not use their logo. So did it, didn't. But you need to understand that early. Test your market fit. OK, now, people say they like this solution for this problem. Can I serve you? So fake it till you make it. This is where you make a fake website or a fake Instagram channel. That's why I said check with legal first if you're using the brand, and that's what you do, and then you develop the value proposition. So over 3 months, good, you're taking pictures, not just checking the weather. Over 3 months, this is what you're expected to do. So remember, the first slide, you're expected to do all that kickoff, deep dive, innovation, innovation, innovation. Now you're in a room of people, and you got to do this in 3 months. Why do I say 3 months? Because this is a corporate startup. And quarterly earnings, quarterly reporting, every 3 months, someone's going to expect you to say something. So go for 3 months. This is the first 2 phases are crucial. And you haven't even built anything. You're still living in la-la land like that guy in the board just going somewhere on a dune. You're still just telling people, this is what we could build. But now you actually said, customers said they love it. Let's build it. So that's where you get a no-go. Now, the go, no-go feels a little bit like this, because you've been doing things that your corporate company does not do, right? But you're cute. You're so cute. You can go and say, I need more money now. Because look at me. I got customers saying, I want this from you. That's, puppy eyes. You know when you have a puppy and it's like, oh, just give him a biscuit. They really want it. You're playing that game. You are that person in the room saying, customers want what we have. Let's do it, please. And you go. But Manu and I, that this book is important. It's a book about orbiting the giant hairball. I don't have a lot of hair, but if you think of the corporate company as a ball of hair, you want to brush it. You want to make everybody feel good. You don't want to go in the middle. You'll never get out. Never, ever, ever. So brush that hair. Make it beautiful. Go to meetings. Work at night. Do things they don't do. And so the 3 major hairballs you will find is the first one, that's scrap it but control it. I mean scrap IT but control IT. Which I mean is, if you have a Microsoft 365 and you get a Gmail, people are not going to be too happy. So don't tell them. Just don't tell them. It's the only way. So within an enclosed environment, tell your team, just don't tell people, OK? We're using Gmail and WhatsApp to speak to each other. You have to, because if you wait for that license, you're not going to move in. Second one is, measure accurately but generously. The font is funny, I can tell. But what I mean is, and I learned these words from Manu, the Excel theater. Put nice numbers in it. Don't lie too much, but make it high. It's like, look at this. Excel is telling me this is really gonna get us far. It's okay. It's a theater. They know that. CFOs are not involved at this stage. And the third one is, and I'm sorry for agency people, I worked 9.5 years in agencies, and I mean communication agencies. Don't hire one. Not at this stage, okay? For go-to-market, yes. Don't hire one. Do it yourself. You have friends in agencies. Ask them how. Get someone who knows design. Just do it. Because agencies are great, but you need speed. Agencies have other very big paying clients, and guess what? You're not one of them when you have a corporate startup, okay? So 3 hairball alerts. First phase, 2 months, you get the team, you say, let's go, go, go. If you're slow, you stay behind. Deep dive, etc. Phase 2, CEO said, here's money. You build something. You say, customers really want this, but you haven't built anything yet. And you make sure that these 3 things you address, which moves you to the third part. So now we had 2 months, 3 months, and now we're 3 months in, the quarter's over, and you're like, okay, which parts do we really need? Like, again, go back to the car example. I said, people really want us to build a car. What do I need? I need a seat and a steering wheel. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by testing it. You are going, for these next 3 months, test. Call for testers, deploy, and track and report. Test, test, test. Start with your employees. Make an email saying, I'm looking for 50 people to try this out. And that's what you're going to do. At the same time, if you're looking for a technology or a vendor, you need to start that conversation. And that's what we did. We started talking, we have a big technological solution, and that's actually what's slowing us down. And you need to actually start understanding, who can give me this thing I promised all these great customers? Do I need to buy them? Do I need to partner with them? Can I get a license out of them? Are they the best? So these are the two things. So at this stage, it's much easier because you get that Trello board where you said you have tasks and say, OK, guys, 90% of you are testing. You're testing. You're going in. You're looking at data. You're asking people, did it work for you? Did it work for you? Did it work for you? Does it work? And then the vendor, someone who's a little bit more engineering-minded, they should speak to the vendors. And then you get a go or no go, but now you've committed. Because now you've told the board, or at the end of this quarter, which is, I need money, real money, not pretend money. I really need to, like, speak to big companies and get things going. So you need commits. Now, it feels a little bit like this. It's like, yeah, we're going to do this. This is the tipping point. This is really scary. You've promised the company you can make money. You're no longer playing in La La Land with beautiful slides. You're just like, OK, we're going to be able to build this. And this is where technology hits the wall. And that's why I said it's 9 to 12 months. If technology slows you down, you need these 3 months for buffer. So when you make a commitment, don't say, you will have money in 3 months. No, it's like, I just need to make sure that it all really works. Because when you ask for money, or more money, you're also going to come to a question, which is, how does this integrate with our IT? It's like, oh, we have to? You're going to need the buffer. Now, the buffer feels a little bit like that. Nothing much. You just got to ignore people and say, I'm doing stuff. Yeah, I'm doing stuff. And you're like, I'm testing it again. Wow, it again. Got to look busy. Got to look busy. But then you get somewhere. And so these are my hairball alerts for this phase of testing. Make a legal person your CMO. Make them feel like you own this show. What are you asking them? Can I use your logo? Can I speak to our customers? Can we go after them on the CRM? GDPR compliant. But this is my hairball alert to you. And then you get to the fourth phase, which is, OK, what have we done? We found it. We got money. We built some beautiful tests that customers say they love it. We've done and a real test. We gave customers a product that they can play with. And we've learned this vendor might be good for us because Excel is saying, yes, go. And now it's like, OK, now it's really hard because that's where we are now, which is go to market. Now everyone in the company wants to know. Everyone wants to get involved. And it is really, really confusing. And it feels like that. I put this one up because I actually am a big rugby fan. And I met Sean Fitzpatrick, which was the captain of the All Blacks in 2008. It's because you need to play an arrogance game. And the All Blacks are known, and they do say it, they have to portray arrogance. So when this starts, you need to say, you can't join my team. We're pretty much maxed out. Which is not true, because you need people to help you. But you need this phase to be curtailed by you. It's you and your team. So what happens in these 3 months? Go to market. All that stuff needs to happen in the go to market. No longer it's a beautiful funnel of top down, it's bottoms up. And if you know the difference is, bottoms up is where you put all the conditions to which are difficult to deliver your product. You're going to need a campaign. Yes, agencies, you're back in. You're going to need a media plan. Yes, media people, unless you have someone who's a media person on your team. You need UX, UI. These things take time, and you only have 3 months to do it. This is the most stressful time, because you're actually building a product that the company will, either under its own logo or a new logo, tell the world, we've launched. And you need to start trainings and speak to HR early. That, if you look at month 1, 2, and 3, I would actually say HR earlier, which is, who's going to own this? Because they might not want the team who built it to own it, and the team might not want to build it. And here we go again. It must be me. Anyway. Black box of innovation. Stubborn, huh? Oh, there we go. We're right in the beginning. No, no, no. Sorry. Okay, your 3 hairballs, which is control the skeptics. A lot of people will say, they're never going to make it. And you're like, yeah, I am. No, maybe. Commit with a smile. Yes, we're going to bring all this money. It's not true, but, commit with a smile. Say, we might be 10% off. And do not give up the core team. This phase is so intense. This is where the core team wants out for 2 reasons. The first of all, it's a lot of work. And second, they're like, what am I going to do when this is launched? Where do I go? Where's my desk again? Your desk is gone. And so do not give up the core team. Speak to HR, find them roles, make sure that you protect the core team, because if you lose the core team, your narrative is lost. The journey, the painful journey is lost, and you need the core team to be there. So these are the 4 phases that I advocate and do in practice, and I'm living 4 days a week at the moment inside a telco company where we're almost at the end and going to market. It is exhilarating. To build a business in 12 months, it gives me so much pleasure to find that revenue, to test a new product and put it out there, but also to see the transformation in people. People who are otherwise doing their day job, doing the skills they had in their job description like that, are now doing things like that. Like, oh, I can do a little bit of web design. So give them the chance to be part of this and protect that team. Make sure you break a few things. And it feels like this. That's launch date. Takes a while. Boom. That is all. And you've been working on it for so long and you launch it. Oh. But it is a great thing to do. You are not working in rocket science. If you are, thank you. But the reality is, it is a long, long endurance run. But these are the frameworks that we practice. These are the frameworks we put in place. And the important thing is, get people who want to do and be part of that transformation. And that is why I just want to focus on 2 slides on how the way of working evolves. In the beginning, you sit around. Someone puts an innovation board on the wall, you get a stack of Post-its, and that's a group thing. And people start slowing you down and say, thank you very much, you can go back. But when thing gets real, you need to learn how to do stuff. As you can see, the purple squares there are covering the logo of what we're building. But the reality is, you go from being a bunch of people thinking to a bunch of people doing. And that evolution needs to happen. And there is a very clear self-selection process of who wants to be part of it. And that's what we heard this morning, people who want to be accountable, people who want to find purpose. You will find them in all your companies, in your teammates, in your colleagues, even in your superiors. There are people who are still ready to do. Manu and I have a client who is our intrapreneur. He was an SVP managing 35 people. He gave up to basically manage 6 of us, building a startup inside a big telco. There are people who want to do. And so the intrapreneur, if you still have questions what they do, on the bottom, these are the tasks that I totally see the intrapreneur has to own. They own the stage gates. That is the governance. They have stakeholder access and management. You do not want to put your team in front of the CEO. You want one person to do it. They are licensed to ask and get and deploy OpEx and CapEx. They're the co-owners of innovation. They sign off on the business case, and they own the innovation agenda. They own, that is very important, that you're able to say, you own the innovation agenda, which is when we go back and say why we're innovative, you've owned it. If you have more questions, this is a channel where I interview a series of entrepreneurs. It's getting better and better, and we have about 8 more interviews to come out until the end of March. Then you have the venture. These are people probably in your companies or probably externals, which is what Manu and I have, which is this intersection of these skills with entrepreneurial experience. Yes, and we need to be able to know how to do innovation frameworks, research, how to validate and get the data, apply it to a business case, develop an MVP, and process manage everything that you need done. So why do I love corporate startups? Yes, it beats time to market. It is born with a business link. It's in your company, for God's sake. It breathes your DNA. It will be governed in quarters, just like the companies you work for. And it's ignited by your people. So there is a win-win. Despite in these first 12 months, you're not making money, you're actually retaining talent, you're finding new solutions, you're speaking to new companies, you're bringing in innovation frameworks. That is already a win, and if you do it diligently, step by step, you will find a new business. Just make sure legal is with you every step of the way. And that would be me. That is not playing, but there is actually a spacesuit out there. Can we press play? We can't press play. That's it. That's all I wanted to show you. It's me running. It's actually not me. It's from YouTube. But I wanted to thank you, and I hope this journey, which was quick, I know, and a lot, but I saw you take pictures and not fubbing to see what the weather is like. I want to thank you for listening to me. Thank you for understanding that this journey is possible for all of you, and we're here for any questions all afternoon. So thank you.